I thought Strawstalker was pretty decent. This was released this year in 2026. It's directed by George Henry Horton. It's written by Horton with a cast including Branika Scott, George Henry Horton, Dallas Steinback, Vincent Ranola, and various others. And it's about a supernatural scarecrow who is after some people in LA, tormenting them, putting them in danger. For the start of the film, we have characters vlogging, streaming, and honestly, I have a soft spot for that when it comes to contemporary horror. I love films that are based on... the horror aspect actually isn't really connected to the online streaming and things, but I just find it to be, when it's executed right, so engaging, so fun. It just gives, I guess, contemporary horror films, or contemporary films in general, something a little bit different. Granted, most of my favourite horror films are not from this century, but nevertheless, it's something that I find really fun, and I thought that aspect was done really well. The camera work, the on-screen text, it all looked decent, convincing. It was very easy to feel drawn into this and believing everything from the very beginning. And these individuals are in this house. It looks really nice. Great locations, great look at LA and the Hollywood Hills. It makes my heart happy. As somebody who sings Hooray for Hollywood every single day, Doris Day's version, of course, my love of Hollywood definitely made me enjoy bits of this film quite a lot. And again, it felt really immersive, easy to feel like we're there with the characters. I will say though, after a really solid start, while I was still enjoying the visuals and didn't mind getting to know the characters, it did take the bulk of the film for anything scary to happen. So while there were a lot of elements that really appealed to me and really spoke to me, I do admit that the horror aspect is very, very slow. So if none of the other aspects are that interesting to you, if you're not bothered about those elements, you may not enjoy it as much, and I'm certainly willing to admit that. But I'd say by the final third, things really do pick up in terms of the horror aspect. I'd say it's never scary, but there are a few scenes that are quite dark. The characters' fears definitely felt very real. Really good performances in those moments. Good performances throughout the film, but particularly in those moments. There are some elements of the scarecrow aspect that are quite fun and engaging. I do think the scarecrow element just needed a little bit more work. I think the horror aspect, the story surrounding that, just needed a little bit more. It's not bad. I still enjoyed it, but I think there's a bit of room for improvement there. But the story itself, I guess, as a concept is good, if a little slow. Visually, it is great. Good performances, likable characters. I don't have any issues with this. And there were various elements that appealed to me. So even when the pacing wasn't that great, certainly the first half of the film, I just found that there was usually something I liked, whether it was the vlogging and streaming aspect, the Hollywood aspect. We get some beautiful shots of Hollywood Hills. And on top of that, we have good performances and likable characters. So yes, as a horror film, it could be stronger. But that being said, I enjoyed pretty much all of this. There wasn't anything that didn't really work for me personally, and because of that, I'm happy to recommend Strawstalker.